Thanks, guys, everybody being here. Thanks again, Kemmler, for the Super King spread. Awesome. Twan and the guys over there did a nice job, as always. Uh, Talk a little bit about Northwestern game from this past Saturday. I thought that I really thought we did a great job defensively doing some stuff. Our game plan and the scheme that we ran put us in a position where we could have success on the field. Northwestern ran 94, 96 snaps, somewhere around in there, but we kept them out of the end zone. So I thought defensively the plan was force them into a situation where it would entice them to run the football, which they did, and eliminate the big plays, which we did. So we kept them from going over the top. I think that they've got a couple of receivers as good as anybody in the conference, and quarterback did a nice job up until that point of getting the ball to them. But we rolled the coverage to them. We changed things up. We rotated guys in and out. Thought Louis and the defensive staff really did a nice job giving us a chance and forcing those guys to run. The disappointing part defensively probably was our tackling or lack of. We did a poor job from that standpoint, and, we run tackling circuits every week, but a lot of that's got to do with Northwestern too. They do, I thought their backs ran hard, and receivers, when they caught the ball, had an opportunity, made some guys miss and broke some tackles, but we had too many missed tackles, too many broken tackles by the Northwestern offensive players, but those guys competed well. Offensively, I think we got off a good start, did a couple of good things. The big play right to start the game off, second play, the long pass to Mitch, and did a great job catching the ball over his outside shoulder. It wasn't a chasing, got it out there to him. It should have been a better thrown ball, but he ran it down, and we scored and ended up scoring right off the bat. And then, the next series we had a chance. They brought pressure, and we hit Juwan on a slant route over the middle of a hot route, and he just bounced off his pad, took his eyes off of it, bounced up and got it picked. But he had a chance there. If he catches it, he's got a chance to split the defense and go the distance on that one also. So, those are a few things there. And then offensively, we finished the first half. I thought we played pretty good. We were consistent. We had the 2 turnovers. Other than that, we only had 1 punt. So when we had an opportunity to score, we did. Second half, we just bogged down. We did a poor job. We had some penalties again that took us out of some good field position, but it also put us in some bad down and distance situations. And obviously the last turnover, which they recovered in the end zone for a touchdown, was critical. So those are some things we'll continue to address and continue to go forward with. From a penalty standpoint, we did a little bit better job. We still had some issues, and we're addressing those. And then the turnovers, obviously they're going to hurt you every time those happen. They do happen during the course of a game, but they're happening too often to us. So that falls on me as the head coach to make sure that we address those and, continue to address them as we go forward. UIW this week, we'll go on the road, a long trip, about 8.5 hours, I guess, to San Antonio. Be good. There'll be some people there that I was there the last couple of years, so I get a chance to see some old friends while I'm there. They come by the hotel or come to the game, but it'll be good to see them. There's some great city, great town. I hope we have some people coming there from Hammond or Southeastern alum that'll be able to come over there that possibly live in the Texas area, the San Antonio area, that could come by the game. Be great to see them. But there's a lot to do in San Antonio coming over there. UIW, they're leading the conference. They're tied with McNeese. They're undefeated right now. It's going to be a huge game for them. We know that. They're excited about what's going on. They feel like this could be an opportunity for them to go 3-0 in the conference, put themselves in the driver's seat. So you can see how excited they're going to be about what's going on. I expect a good fan base there. I expect the crowd to be give them a home field advantage from that standpoint. So we got to make sure that we do the things that we need to do in preparation for that. They're offensively, I think they're athletic up front. Their O-line, you see those guys running around. They do a lot of good stuff. They're not, even though the head coach came from Texas Tech, they're not, 100% air raid, Texas Tech type stuff. They do run the football, and they've got some different route packages that they use, but their offensive line does a really nice job moving around. The quarterback is a dual threat guy, running and passing, so he presents some different problems for us. So there'll be some other stuff that Louis is going to have to address defensively to make sure that we contain him. They got a couple of receivers we think have really got good speed, good shiftiness, do a good job with the ball in their hands. Defensively, it's a different front. This will be something we hadn't seen all year. It's a 4-down look, but they play 2 eyes or A-gap players, and then the Mike Backer's about 6-7 yards deep, and he's a downhill guy. He's their leading tackler. Their safeties, most of the time, it's a two-deep team. Whether they play quarters, halves, or six. But defensively, the front will be different. So it'll be a challenge for our offensive line to make sure that we got the right hats on hats as we, go through the process this week, developing a game plan and running the football. And we've got to do a better job of running the football. We got to be more physical up front. We're not doing a good job being physical, coming off the football and engaging the defenders on their side of the line of scrimmage. So that's going to be critical for us to be able to run the football this week. So with that, I'll take any questions you guys got.
After the game about the play to Austin to get him going early or get you guys going early. But the rest of the success, was that other things that maybe you guys have seen on film, or is that just something that just kind of happened during the game?
Yeah, no, the usually in the first couple of series you see some stuff on film that you say, all right, here's some shot plays that you want to take. And that was one it was either going to be called the first or second series, but it was scripted, so we put it in the first series. And we thought we had an opportunity at that time to take a shot over the top. So you'll see that every week. They'll be in the first, second, third series. We're going to take some shots down the field, more of a vertical passing game. And we tried a little bit later on. We had some opportunities, and we just missed them. Especially in the second half, we had some open guys down the middle of the field, and we just missed them. But we're going to take those shots based on what we see game plan-wise and the expectation that we're going to get from the defense. And a lot of times you do it early to avoid the opposition making some adjustments or some changes in what you're doing.
That was kind of a breakout game for Austin. You talk a little bit about what y'all expected of him coming in?
Yeah, he's been doing a good job. He had a really nice play against Lamar. He had some drops, but then he came right back and caught a touchdown. Caught a curl route and turned it into a touchdown. He's a guy that he's got some speed, he's got some shiftiness, he's got some explosion, but it wasn't geared towards him. Sometimes the coverages kind of dictate who's going to have a big night. And his position and the way they played his position kind of allowed us to isolate him on the safeties a little bit more. So that's why it ended up like that. It could have been anybody. Sometimes it's Jawan. Sometimes it might be Nigeria. It might be Branson or whoever, depending on how they play it, where the ball has to be distributed to. But the way they covered him, they kind of rolled the coverage a little bit more towards Jawan, which isolated Adrian on the safeties and gave us some opportunities, which we were able to take advantage of. Yeah, he will. Yeah, we're going to keep him back there. He's done a good job. Devontae did a good job. He took him a split some, but we thought, let's try to get a little more explosion back there. He's been, Austin got hurt, missed the second game of the season against LSU, and then came back a little bit against UCA. Like I said, had a struggle a little bit in the Lamar game, but had a really good week of practice last week, so we kind of feel like he's coming back into his own, and I feel more comfortable in who he is. So, he'll stay back there catching punts. He'll be the first guy.
Talking about the defense again, when you guys go back and look at the film of this game, what were you guys able to do to kind of keep them out of what they wanted to do?
Yeah, I think, they always want to go in the previous games, they want to go to number one. That's where they're going. Now, up until that last catch right on the last drive, he had 60-something yards of receptions, which is well below his average. And he made a great catch on that. We had three guys right there, but that kind of shows you who he is. Well, we wanted to make sure if we're going to get beat by somebody, it's not going to be him. You always want to, when you have a dynamic player like that, you want to make sure that he's not the guy that because you know how good he is and you know how much they want to go to him. So we just rolled the coverage, whether we went – sometimes we cut him with linebackers underneath in the corner over the top. Sometimes the safeties rolled down and we cut him with those guys with the corner over the top. Sometimes the corner came down and the safety went over the top. So we kept giving him different looks as to how we were attacking him, and it threw the quarterback off a few times. He had to hold on to the football, gave us an opportunity to get some pressure on him. And then, when that happens, the frustration does come out. And I'm sure the receiver was frustrated, maybe the staff, I don't know. But there were some things that they kind of uncharacteristically got away from. So, like I said earlier, we wanted them to run the football, see if they had enough patience to do that, and then see if they could be successful scoring points that way.
Coach, 5 games in, are you happy with where you're at with the team?
Well, we want to be better. I don't know if happy is the right word. I think there's progress being made each week. I think that there are some players who are starting to identify themselves as to who they are that didn't have an opportunity coming into the season to do that in the past because for whatever reason they didn't play or they weren't here. So we're seeing some guys who have never played on this field or played sparingly starting to identify themselves as to who they are and where they fit in on both sides of the ball. I've been really pleased with our special teams. I think our guys on special teams are doing a super job. There's a lot of competition in that phase on all four phases, special team-wise, that those guys are trying to get on. And that's you usually don't have that. You usually say, well, let's put these guys on special teams and rest these other guys. That's not what's taking place. So I think, like you said, pleased with progress. There's progress being made. I want to cut down on the penalties. I want to cut down on the turnovers. I want to run the ball better. So there's room for stuff to take place to help us along. But I think we are improving week to week, and that's a goal every week. You want to accelerate. It's the race to maturity for guys who haven't played a lot. So you want to accelerate that process, but sometimes experience does hurt you. You're not allowed to do it, and we're trying to do that in practice. So progress is what we're doing, and we hope to do it again this week in practice.
Coach, it's been noted the trouble this team had getting the quarterback consistently, getting pressure. How big was it late in the fourth quarter when you needed it most to see the pressure getting there consistently and get those sacks that you've been looking
Yeah, like I said, they ran a lot of plays. So our guys were tired. But one thing I know, and we've done it every game, 5 weeks, we play every snap, man. We play hard. And at the end of the game, they could smell it. They knew what they had to do. They didn't have to worry about playing a run anymore. They could just get up the field, and they did. And we had some other guys in there. Josh Carr is a true freshman. We put him in there. And he did a nice job for us. Sean Clavel got hurt late, so we had to go with David Fields. It's his first chance to get in the game. He did a nice job pushing the pocket. Isaac did a good job again getting back there, and I thought Fred Brown. So it was a different package for us. We put 3 linebackers and 1 D lineman on the field to create some pressure. And then for the last play, obviously we didn't want to happen what happened against us at LSU, him having a little bit of time throwing it up because they had a dude over there that they were going to throw it to. We knew they were going to 1, so that's why we waited, kind of saw the formation, where they were, called timeout. Then we readjusted what we want to do, brought pressure on him from that standpoint and got him off his spot and didn't allow him to throw the football. So, anytime you get pressure on the quarterback, it's critical. I think we had, 5 sacks the other night? So, when you can do that, when you can affect the quarterback, I think it's critical.
Coach, you know about the UIW quarterback? It seems to be all over the stat sheet. Caught a touchdown pass last week, and had some big runs as well. Nice game throwing. What's he bringing to the table for them?
Yeah, he's a dual threat guy, so you got to account for him in everything. And like I said, if you were playing the head coach came from Texas Tech, and if you were playing Texas Tech, you didn't have to worry about accounting for the quarterback in the run game because that's not going to happen. Well, this guy you do. He runs the football. He's a dual threat guy, so he's a good passer. He can stay in the pocket and throw it. He throws well on the run, but he runs the football well, so he's a threat. So it's going to present some different problems that we hadn't seen in the last few weeks. Having a guy like that being able to do those things. So defensively, that's what we're working on today, taking care of that, making sure because he is probably their focal point of their offense. As he goes, the offense goes as he goes.
What do you see in that running back? He's averaging 10 yards a carry.
Yeah. Well, any time, when the quarterback's a threat to run the football, you got to take a defender and account for him at all times, whether it be a safety or a backer or something. Somebody's got to account for the quarterback. Can't just let him be free. When that happens, that creates a void. And that's what I was telling you, the offensive line does a good job. They're an athletic group. They get into you pretty fast, and they run with you. And he's been able to do that. He's had a couple of long runs where safety came down and they made him miss, and he was able to split them. So things like that are going to happen. That's what we got to guard against is not give up the explosive plays because that's what he does do. But I think it goes back to the quarterback. The running back's good, but I think it goes back to the quarterback having to account for him and changing your scheme up a little bit.
Getting into this one, this is kind of new territory, I think, for all of you guys that have been playing. This is big at this point, 5 weeks in. Probably as big as it get. I know you're going to treat it like every other game. I know that's what you're going to tell them. But as far as you guys and how these guys are getting ready for this game and preparing, what are you telling them?
Yeah, same thing, Rob. It is. It's not. I hope we don't play harder this week because it means more in the standings. This past week meant a lot in the standings, right? So I just hope we play better. That the experience that we're gaining each week allows us to play a little faster because we don't have to think as much. We're able to do and react, but also be smarter. The experience allows us to do those things. You don't see a third or fourth year guy who's been playing for 3 or 4 years make some of the mistakes that we're making. You see guys who hadn't played a lot. Those are the kind of mistakes that they're making. So what I want to be able to do is watch our guys practice again this week with a purpose, and then carry it over to Saturday and be better than we were this past week. Not play harder or be more intense. I hope that's not the case. I hope we're doing that every week.
But this is where you want to be. I mean, at this point, playing for, you're playing basically the leader here. So
Sure.
you're right where you want to be.
Absolutely. It's exactly what we want these games. We want to play every one of these games. We want to play. We hope that everybody brings their best each week and they're in first place and we got a chance to knock them off. That's where we want to be in. And sooner or later, we'll get to the top if that happens. And then bring their best again and try to knock us off. That's what you want as a competitor. You want you want to play the best teams at their best, and then to judge who you are and how how you feel going into this thing. So yeah, this is a great situation for us, but so is Northwestern. Northwestern was moving up the. There they were 2-1 and 1-1 in the conference, but 2-1 outside of the A&M game, and they had a lot of confidence in their team coming in here and winning the game, and they played well, they played hard, and we won the game. So I was excited about that. But being able to go into this atmosphere on the road, they're in first place. It's probably been a long time since they've been in that situation. I know my son played there, so it's been a long time since they've been in that situation, and they're going to be excited and ready to play.
Can you show us your red zone defense a little bit? I mean, you guys really, that's something y'all are focusing on. I mean, I know you're always focused on red zone defense. That's something y'all put the pressure on, like they keep it in front of you, not allow the big play, and then really clamp them down when they get down to that red zone.
Yeah, especially the other night was big because the receivers are so big. So we wanted to try to make them run when they got the ball down there. And when you make guys run plays instead of letting them score, and I know it sounds stupid, but when you make them run plays, they got a chance to make mistakes, and they did. The one in this end zone, quarterback was supposed to hand it off, and he just botched it, and he ends up running and gets stopped at the one. The other one, they fumbled. So when you go, if I was at Northwestern, I'd be upset about those two plays, and then the third time we got the pick play, the penalty. So when you look at, if you're over there in their locker room, you're mad because you had opportunities, you didn't take advantage of it. When you look at it from our standpoint was we bent, but we didn't break. We allowed them they got down there, but when they got down there, we made it tougher for them, and we feel like we helped force those errors. So you can't look at it all the time like, well, they just screwed up or we just screwed. Sometimes the opposition has something to do with some of the mistakes that are made by each team. So we feel like we help force those errors by forcing them to go to 3 and 4 down situations and having to make those plays each and every time. They have inexperienced players also, and those guys are the ones that made the mistakes.
And UIW's passing the ball. What have you seen out of the pass game?
A lot of quick game. They do take some shots. You'll see some similarities in their pass game, just their pocket pass game, to Texas Tech. A lot of the same concepts and things like that. But they've got some. Their receiver Edwards is a slot receiver, I think. He's a guy that's quick. You'll see him catch the football and do something with it. So you'll see some talented guys on the perimeter, and they got 4 or 5. They got a bunch of them. They run 4, 5, 6 guys out there that they'll play with. So, but you'll see a vertical pass game. They're not as much horizontal, but it'd be mostly quick game out of them. Thank you, guys, man. Appreciate it. Still got some more food. Have at it.